AudioControl has long been known in the car audio world for their factory system upgrade gear and signal processors that allows you to easily adapt and fully control the audio signal in a system. Within the last 10 years, they have also added amplifiers to their lineup, which have been immensely successful as they are packed full of features, easy to install, and are reliable. Now AudioControl is expanding their product line even more and applying their expertise in audio with speakers and subwoofers. Two lines of subwoofers have already been released. The Space line, which features a slim subwoofer design for space savings, and these, the Spike series. With this new lineup, what sizes are available? What features are included? And what subwoofer enclosure type do these perform best in? And how do they perform? I'm Mark, welcome to Car Audio Fabrication. Let's dive on in and take a closer look at the Spike series. All right, so getting started here, the Spike series is available as an 8-inch, a 10-inch, or a 12-inch subwoofer. And each of these subwoofers comes in either a single 2 ohm or a single 4 ohm voice coil. So that's right, just these three sizes for the time being, but who knows what the future could hold. I would love to see a Spike 15. What about you guys? Now, packaging wise for the Spike subwoofers, they come in this fold open box here. And I think it's kind of cool that they showed the dimensions of each subwoofer here on the side. On the other side of the packaging, we're going to find the power rating values and their suggestions for a sealed and vented enclosure. We're going to be talking more about those in detail later in the video. Now, I really like when manufacturers list these ratings as a range, in particular on the subwoofer enclosure size. That's because not every application is the same, and when we change the enclosure size, we can change the performance of a subwoofer depending on our application. So it's nice that they give us a target range here that we should try to be within. Keep in mind, all these ratings are going to be in watts RMS, and here on the 8-inch subwoofer, they recommend between 200 and 500 watts RMS. And both the 10 and the 12 have the same power rating at 300 up to 700 watts RMS. If you guys are familiar with AudioControl, you know that they like to add a little bit of humor in their product write-ups. So here you can see they have our sonic sommeliers recommend the following, and these are the suggested amplifiers from their product lineup that they recommend using with each of these subwoofers. Now we got to do an unboxing and see what's included. First off, they give us the manual. And then I love that they give us this. This is a cutout template for the subwoofer. So you can see the outer diameter, you can see the cutout diameter, and you can see the mounting hole diameter. And I love that they've lined up exactly where we need to potentially drill holes in our enclosure. This is so valuable to have. That way we're not potentially damaging the subwoofer when we are transferring those hole locations. Move that out of the way, and on top here they have a protective piece of foam, and then here is the subwoofer itself in a protective wrapping. Some nice solid thick foam on the bottom here to protect the subwoofer, but wait, what is this? This is a package of fasteners. Now, what's the big deal? Subwoofers oftentimes include the wood screws to hold the subwoofer in place. Well, the big deal here is that AudioControl has also given us the threaded inserts along with the machine screws that match the subwoofer. This is super nice because now when you're building a custom enclosure for your Spike subwoofer, you can add these threaded inserts into the baffle, and that way you can take the subwoofer on and off as many times as you want without degrading the quality of that hole. These kind of things are important when you're building a high-end enclosure, and I'm so excited to see that they include these because whenever I talk about the threaded inserts in a video, the question that you guys always ask is, what size do I need to get? And here with the Spike subwoofers, you don't have to worry about it because they're included. Now you probably noticed that something else is included here. We're going to talk more about that in a second, but I do want to give a quick shout out to the AudioControl manual. In the manual, you're going to find important safety instructions, a discussion about enclosures and picking the right enclosure for you, but this is also what I love to see is when manufacturers include a full, complete list of all the different specs, but also for each variant, whether in this case it's a 2 ohm voice coil or the 4 ohm voice coil. And they've got everything here in these specs, all of the teal small parameters, the displacement, which is important for determining our enclosure air volume correctly, all of the different specs and dimensions of the subwoofer like we saw on the outside of the box there. And again, always good to have that power rating and the different recommended enclosure sizes listed as well. I also love that they give us some included enclosure layouts. They've got a ported enclosure here along with a sealed enclosure. And of course, the manual has the information for each of the different subwoofer sizes. It's definitely worth mentioning too, because this is another thing that AudioControl is well known for, is their rock solid warranty. In this case, you're getting a 1-year warranty. You can read more about the terms and conditions here, of course. But if you do have this subwoofer installed by an authorized AudioControl dealer, that will also extend your warranty to 2 years. Now let's look at some of the cosmetics of this subwoofer, and I do first want to remove the included protective grille. Definitely super nice that they include this grille. That way you don't have to worry about fabricating your own or buying one separately. And you can see that it's made from this honeycomb style mesh. It has a slight dip on the inside here. And I will say, it is definitely good and strong. It's going to protect your subwoofer really well. So cosmetically, the first thing that stands out is this blue metallic stamped basket. The best way I can describe this color is the blue seems to be mixed with a silver shimmer, so it has kind of a shiny effect, and the whole surface has a gloss finish. On the back side, there's also an AudioControl branded rubber motor cover. And that rubber gasket that we pulled off earlier to remove the grille is also branded with the AudioControl logo right there. And this is a unique Easter egg. AudioControl is known for having Easter eggs on their products. You can see on the back side here, do not deep fry or saute. Also on the back side, you'll find the Spike logo, and you'll see the AudioControl logos on both the positive and negative speaker terminal, which by the way, these hold 10 to 14 gauge wire. The back side of the motor has this thick matte black sticker on it. The surround and cone are stitched together with this blue stitching, and the new AudioControl glyph can be found here on the center of the dust cap. It has kind of this ghosted white opaque look to it. So feature-wise, what design characteristics are built into the Spike subwoofers? First off, AudioControl has implemented a dual dust cap system. This provides enclosure compression control to reduce distortion. The cone material is a fiber matrix paper cone, which is going to give a lot of rigidity and stiffness to the cone while maintaining a low mass. There's of course the durable surround for high excursion held together with the cone using that double stitching. Now it's hard to see here on the subwoofer, but they have a dual spider system. This helps to keep bass reproduction linear. On the side of the subwoofer are radial venting slots for voice coil cooling. Voice coil size-wise, there's a 2-inch voice coil on the 8-inch version here, and then a 2.5-inch voice coil on the 10s and the 12s. But perhaps the most important feature of all, don't forget, these are Bigfoot approved. Now, while you're watching me load up this Spike 10, let's talk about subwoofer enclosures. All of the Spike subwoofers have an EBP or efficiency bandwidth product very close to that 50 to 100 range that makes them suited for either a ported or sealed type application. The 8s have a high EBP leaning more towards a ported enclosure, and the 12s a low EBP leaning more towards a sealed enclosure, but keep in mind this is not an end-all be-all rule. A good enclosure design is critical. Taking a look at the suggested air volume and tuning for each subwoofer size and version, here is the anechoic response with sealed on the left and ported on the right. Again, remember that AudioControl gives us a range to work within, so we can always modify our enclosure to achieve our goal for the system. All right, my friends, we've got the Spike 10 mounted up in this vented enclosure to do a little bit of a test listen. Now, as always, a few reminders. First of all, we're going to be using royalty-free music, and this isn't meant to be a demonstration of sound quality. We're obviously here in my shop where everything is going to rattle like crazy. And remember, I'm also going to be turning down the gain on the camera's microphone. It would be very easy to just blow out the microphone so that it sounds like it's super loud. We want to actually hear the bass performance, so I'm turning down the microphone gain, and we're using an AudioControl LC-1.800. So this is a 4-ohm model of the Spike 10 that I have hooked up. So right now we're getting about 500 watts RMS to the subwoofer. We're going to play a few test tones. Now off camera, I listen to some more mainstream music that I typically like to use when I'm evaluating the performance of a subwoofer, and in this case, the evaluation of the 10-inch subwoofer tells me that this subwoofer has no trouble getting down low, and it also does a really good job of reproducing bass accurately. One track in particular I like to listen to is a drum solo, and there's a ton of kick drum, and man, it really sounds like I'm sitting here with the drum set right in front of me. Now of course, this is subject to change, but at the time of making this video, the Spike 8 is $199, the Spike 10 is $249, and the Spike 12 is $279. In my opinion, based on our first look here, that puts these at an exceptional value, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. To truly test these out, I do have a project planned here on the channel where we are going to be using four of the Spike Series 12s and building a custom enclosure. So if you're new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber so that you can catch those future videos, and if you've already subscribed, thank you guys for tuning in. A big thanks to AudioControl for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to learn more about the Spike series, check out the link down in the video description. I'll also put a link down there so that you guys can find an AudioControl dealer near you. I'll see you guys in the next one.